Hello viewers, welcome to this session of safety lecture. Topic of our discussion is now today is analyzing construction jobs for safety. We are going to discuss on hazards and their analysis. Mainly our lectures based on introduction, few facts related to construction safety sites, working at height, ladder safety, route safety, excavation work, electricity and importance of PPEs. As you know, construction site safety is a very important requirement of the construction industry that is often neglected on project. The successful completion of project mainly depend on the safety. Without proper safety regulation, employees are prone to minor or major accident on a regular basis because of dangerous and dynamic environment of the construction industry. As you know, on site there is no and if there is no analysis of hazards and risk, accident is definitely going to place. So that first we have to understand hazards in construction site, and mainly before we are discussing hazards, we have to discuss what is risk and hazards. Hazards is something that has got potential to harm, and risk when you engage with that hazard. So, some of the most common hazard in the construction industries are falling object, exposure to chemical substances, fall from height, dust inhalation, vehicular and equipment accidents, working in confined space. Other are slip on site, fire and explosion, electrocution, and other two are defective safety equipments and chemical spills. So, all these hazards need to be addressed for successful completion of project. Okay. Now, let us discuss needs of safety management at construction site. In modern era, construction industry has taken numerous steps to avoid accident on site, provide workers with a safe working condition and ensure safe practices. But even today, safety in the construction site is still a distant dream. A safety management system can assist in systematically identification of hazard, controlling risk associated with it, while assuring that these control steps are effectively in aiding construction site safety. Now, discuss the fact about construction site and when and where accident took place. The first week of each new site is most dangerous, as one is not aware of the site's hazards, risk. Accident is more frequently at the end of the day. Small buildings jobs are most risky. Safety helmet, jackets, safety boots do prevent injury and death. Safety shoe is most essential as on site, and light shoe such as trainer and or runner cannot be suitable for site, and most important PPE, personal protective equipment, should never be bypassed. Construction site, let us see what contributes in the accident, in what percentage. Here we see breakdown of fatalities according to type of accident in construction site. 56% of death cases comes from fall from height, 21% is by something collapsing or overturning, 10% struck by a moving vehicle, 5% is due to electric hazard, 4% struck by a flying object or falling object during machine lifting of material, and 3% contact of moving machinery or material being machined. 1% to a hot or harmful substance. Now, before analyzing the hazards, we should know the definition, and now we start from height. Safety at working at height. First, we took the term fall. A fall by a person or of person from the one level to another. What is falling object? An unsecured object, that is tool, bricks and other fixing equipment falling from the height, which can cause serious injuries if controls are not implemented to eliminate or minimize the associated risk. Fall hazards means circumstances that expose a worker in a workplace to a risk of a fall that is reasonably like to cause injury to the worker or other person. Now, come to working at height. Height hazards on construction site. Holes in a floor, gaps between working platforms, shaft, staircase not adequately covered, barricade, fence of roofs, while a ladder or scaffolding which is not properly fixed. Others are now what will we do? Here we have to take certain steps, certain decisions. First of all, never use an incomplete scaffolding. Make sure there is a handrail or toe guard on all edges. Things may fall from side, so that helmet never be ignored. Before starting work at height, check for clearance from other overhead power lines and other authorities. Fall hazards. All hazards can be found on every sites, building structures, exterior construction area, scaffolding, stairs, ladders are the most common hazards. Now, condition that contributes hazards including when a worker is in or on a plant or a structure that is at elevated height, or in or on plant that is being used to gain access to a elevated level, on or near a surface through which a person could fall. It mainly this includes fragile roof or skylight, on or near a slippery, sloping, unstable surface. Common scaffolding hazards. In this topics, we see the common hazards we face working on or working with scaffoldings. Defective wood planks and inadequate planking overhang, uneven or uncompact ground. So, that to avoid this hazard, we have to use base plate in scaffolding system, unsafe access to scaffold, crossing, bracing not adequate, inadequate footing, bridging of scaffolding, high wind and skiddy surface due to rain, and nature of electrical falling or falling object hazards. No guardrail on scaffolding. Guardrail is a most important parameter for scaffolding while working at height. It cannot be ignored. Beside scaffolding, personal fall protection system should be employed for protection and safety during working at height. A worker is at a risk of falling from certain distance must be protected by guardrail, or if guardrail are not practical, by a travel restraint system, fall restricting system, fall arrest system or safety net. All these protective equipment should be provided to prevent the fall hazard. Now, discuss travel restraint system. Travel restraint system, the basic travel restraint system consists of approved full body harness, lanyard, lifeline, rope grab to attach harness or lanyard to lifeline, adequate anchorage, capable of supporting the static load of minimum 15 kilonewton with a recommended safety factor of at least 2. Fall arrest system, where worker cannot be protected from falls by guardrail or travel restraint, there must be protection by at least one of the following methods: fall restricting system, that is safety net fall arrest system. In the event of a fall, this system must keep below a worker from hitting the ground and the next level below or any other objects. Now come to from scaffolding, the next hazard is working with ladder. The frequent use of ladder at home or on construction sites tends to dull awareness of the danger involved in their use. Although there are varieties of ladders, many of the same requirements and safe work practice apply. When using ladders for such use, make sure they are a minimum type 250 pound rating or greater. Ladders, the types of ladders used on a construction site range from metal ladder permanently mounted on equipment to job built wooden ladders, portable ladders, step, trestle and platform ladders, fixed ladders, special purpose ladders, job built wooden ladders. The following are major cause of accident during working with ladders. Ladders are not held tight up off or otherwise secured. Slippery surface or unfavorable weather conditions cause workers to lose footing or on rungs or step. Workers fail to grip ladders adequately when climbing up or down. Worker takes unsafe positions on ladders such as leaning out too far. Now, we are going to discuss the risk involvement during use of ladder. When we placement of a poor footing or improper angle cause ladders to slide. Ladders are defective. High wind cause ladders to topple. Near electric line, if you place near ladder very close to electric line, there is a chance of electrification. Ladder are carelessly handled. Position layer stabilizers are not used where appropriate. To avoid hazards while using ladders, we have to keep ladders free from oil, grease or other slippery hazards. Use ladders only for the purpose for which they are designed. Here we use for before placing ladder, we use 4-to-1 rules. That means, if you go 4 times on elevation, ladder must be placed 1 time distance from the base. And other precautions: do not load ladders beyond the maximum intended load for which they were built. Secure and barricade ladder when using them in passageway, doorway or driveway where they can be displaced by workplace activities or traffic. Now, discuss the ladders. Keep the area around the top or bottom ladders clean. Do not move, shift, extend ladders while occupied. Use ladders only for the purpose for which they are designed. Only use ladder on a stable and level surface. Another factor that has to be considered while working at height in construction site, that is roof. And the definition, there are certain types of roofs. Now we go through a type of roofs. First, flat roofs. Any roof having slope angle of 0 is considered as a flat roof. It is possible that flat roofs are fragile and hence may require all precautions to be followed while working on the surface. Second, fragile roof. Any roof where there is a risk of the roof giving way when placed under load. Fragility of the roof may be due to corrosion, material of construction, that is fiber, plastic, asbestos fiber, even though bent or old sheets may still be in use, the corroded support etc. And third form we are discussing here is sloping roof. Low slope roofs are where the slope is less than 8 degree, while any slope higher than 8 degree, this is considered as high slope roof. Now, we discuss the precaution we have to take while working on roof. While working on roof, 1.8 meter from the edge of the roof, use of live line on any fixed structure anchoring the landlord is must. Warning signboards shall be displaced all around. Access to flat roofs shall be provided if not existing in the absence of staircase. And while fragile roofs, as there is a danger of fall from height, crawling ladder must be used while working on the fragile roof. Proper fall arrest system must be ensured. And another hazards that we come across while working on construction site, that is excavation safety. Excavation safety is a standardized set of safety precautions for trenching or excavation to eliminate hazard and control risk in compliances with regulations. Excavation of safety, as any man-made cut, activities, trench or depression in the earth surface formed by earth removal. According to OHSA definitions, excavation involves any hazards. Here are some of the dangers brought by excavation. The collapse of the sites of excavation, material falls onto people, falls either people or vehicle, nearby structure collapsing into the excavation, electrocution, explosion, blast, gas risk or flooding caused by the damage to underground service. Now, what we do to avoid all these hazards? Collapsing should be avoided by supporting the sites of excavation. Material from excavation should be stored at a safe distance from the excavation. Adding barriers to excavation is an essential precaution to avoid people falling into excavation. It is safer if vehicles are kept completely out of excavation area. If required, the use of barrier and stop block should help mitigate that danger. Further, we discuss cable, pipe and service plans should be used to ensure that underground services are known, so that they can be marked on the ground or ideally the area avoided entirely before excavation. Around the areas where there are underground services, mechanical equipment should be avoided instead of use of spade or shovel. Picks and forks should be avoided as they are most likely to pierce cable and pipes. Another danger which contributes fatality in construction site is electric hazard. On the construction site, damaged electric equipments, tools can be more than just an annoyance. They can be fatal sometimes, as something as seemingly minor as an exposed wire and frayed cable can cause spark and causing both an electrocution and fire hazards. Common electric hazards in construction site: damaged equipment or cord, inadequate wiring, overloaded circuit, improper grounding, operating electric equipment in wet condition. The most important thing to avoid electric hazard is to follow the electric guidelines issued by authorities and safety management system. As we analyze the hazards and risk associated with construction site, now factor of control. As a factor of control, we should promote the use of protective equipment, personal protective equipment. These PPEs are designed to protect the user or wearer against any health or safety risks at work. Items like safety helmet, gloves, eyes protection, high visibility clothing, safety footwears and harness. PPEs can be defined as equipment that is worn to minimize workers' exposure to occupational safety hazards that cause serious injuries and illness. PPE can include items such as hard hat, gloves, eye visibility clothing, footwear and safety harness. There are mainly 4 types of safety equipments, personal protective equipments in use. First is eye and face protection. This type of PPEs protect your eyes and face from hazards such as chemical splash. Second, hand protection. The equipment is worn to protect workers' hand from sharp edge, pinch point, rotary machine, hot object, electricity or chemical hazards present at construction site. Third protective equipment is body protection, coveralls, splash suits, aprons, jackets, vests, lab coats, surgical gowns and full body suits are the example of body protection PPEs. This PPEs is good for protecting worker from blood-borne pathogens and if comes to a variety of different materials suitable for the different kind of hazards. While working at construction site, especially in confined space, it is very important to keep in mind that respiratory protective equipments should be used as a last line of defense. After all other controls to mitigate inhalation hazards have been set. What now discuss the factors which has to be considered when selecting the PPEs for workers. One should ask oneself the following question: who is exposed and to what, and how long they are exposed for, and how much they are exposed to hazards. On this basis, the selection of PPEs can be made. Workers need to train on the following: when PPEs is necessary, what PPEs is necessary, how to properly done, doff, adjust and wear PPEs, and the limitation of PPEs. The limitation of PPEs are most important phenomena one should keep in mind while working in construction site, as one should always refer PPEs as the last line of defense, and the proper care and maintenance, useful life and disposal of PPEs. Defective PPEs itself are hazards, is considered as a most dangerous hazard at workplace. Thank you.